got a 30-minute dinner recipe for you that you're gonna love today. It's beef fried rice. Hey, I'm Carrie with eatingonadime.com, and today I'm going to show you how to make beef fried rice. Now you can find the full recipe linked in the description below, and you can also find everything that we're using today in there as well. You can always go to eatingonadime.com and search fried rice or beef fried rice, and all of our recipes are going to pull right up for you. Now before we get started, I want to know in the comments, do you love fried rice? And have you ever made it at home? And before I start this recipe, don't forget, like and subscribe. I don't want you to miss any more of our recipes because we're going to help you, show you how you can eat at home by eating on a dime. First thing you need is some flank steak. You need about a half a pound. This is about a pound, so I'm going to use about half of this for this recipe. Now this recipe serves 4 people, and you need about 8 ounces of a flank steak. However, that's 2 ounces per person because traditionally fried rice is a really hearty meal, but it doesn't have a lot of meat. Now, if you want to, because we're going to have eggs in there, but if you want to bump up the meat, by all means, you can. Nobody's going to stop you. But what's the great thing about fried rice is it's very budget friendly because you don't have to use as much meat. Now, on the flank steak, when we cut it up, you'll see the lines going this way. We're cutting it into pieces, but I'm going to start with slicing it against the grain first. Oh, don't forget, I got my nice knife, and sharpen it before you go. But this is what's going to give you those tender pieces. If we cut it this way, they're not going to be as tender and delicious and kind of fall apart. They'll be chewy, if that makes sense. So we cut right across the grain, and we're cutting it into strips. Just like so. Once you have the strips done, then we are just going to move the meat, and then we're going to cut it the opposite. Maybe I should do a little less so you can see it better. And we're just cutting these strips into pieces. Pretty small. You want them bite-sized pieces, so not really big, but easy to eat on a fork with rice and all your other veggies that you're throwing in. Now, before we head to the skillet, once we get to the skillet, this recipe is going to move quick. So remember, this is a 30-minute meal, super quick. So I like to get everything ready. So a few things. We got our steak already chopped up. You're going to need a cup of frozen peas and carrots. So I get that out. We need 3 eggs. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and toss these in a bowl and whisk them up. Don't worry, that's my sink over there that I'm throwing these in out of the way. And then I'm just going to whisk these together. Okay, once that's whisked up, we're ready to go. Last thing, all you need is 4 cups of white rice. This rice has already been cooked and cooled. So this is a great way to actually use up leftover rice. So if you've made a meal and you have a ton of leftover rice, you just keep it in the fridge, and then you want this nice and cold, and kind of leave it in the fridge until you're ready to use it. You don't want fresh rice. You want it nice and cold because it just holds up together, and that's the secret ingredient, is having the leftover rice when you're making any fried rice. Now, remember, you can find today's recipe, the full one, linked in the description below. But also, if you go to eatingonadime.com, if you're obsessed with fried rice like we are, you're going to find a ton of recipes. So you can always just search fried rice, and it will pull right up. In a large skillet, we're going to heat about a tablespoon of oil so we can scramble our eggs. Then we're going to add in those eggs and scramble them. Remember, when you scramble eggs, you don't want to cook them on high. About medium usually works. And we're just going to give them a quick scramble. Since it's only 3 eggs, they won't take long, especially since it's in a bigger skillet. But just constantly moving them is the trick. Once your eggs are completely scrambled, go ahead and remove them and place them on a plate. So that way we can use our skillet to cook up our steak. Add in the remaining oil and allow it to heat up. Then add in your flank steak. We're going to spread this out and let it cook for about 2 to 3 minutes. I like to just let it sit there and cook so we can get that nice brown color on the steak. Once you start seeing the edges begin to brown, then you're just gonna kind of flip the steak over and saute it for a minute. And let it cook for another 2 to 3 minutes until that steak is cooked through. And remember, when you're using steak, it doesn't have to be cooked all the way through like chicken. You know, it can still be like a medium to medium rare. If you prefer it to be more of like a medium to medium rare, you can go ahead and start cooking now by adding all the other ingredients. Once that steak is cooked, you're going to go ahead and remove it from the pan, just like we did with the eggs. Then add your 1 cup of frozen peas and carrots. And we're going to saute these for about 2 minutes until they're nice and tender. Then you're going to add your garlic, and I totally forgot to do it on video, and just saute this for about 1 minute. Then add in that 4 cups of cooled rice. Break that rice apart if it is stuck and saute it for just a few minutes to heat through and to begin to brown the rice. You will start to see some browning on the rice. And that's when you know it's time to add the rest of the ingredients. Add in the sesame oil and your soy sauce. Stir it up, and then add your steaks and eggs back in. Then we're going to break apart those eggs and stir everything together to get that soy sauce and sesame oil everywhere. And you keep stirring until your rice, you don't see the pockets of bright white rice. That way you know that the flavor is everywhere. And then I kind of chop up some of the eggs if they weren't quite small enough. Ooh, it smells amazing. Continue stirring and just let it heat up for about a minute, just so those eggs and steak can get reheated if they have cooled too much. Ooh, it's looking good. Last but not least, we're going to slice up some green onions to sprinkle right on top. Of course, optional, but I personally love it. And then a little bit of sesame seeds. And we are ready to dive in. Now it's time for my favorite part, eating it. So you're going to think that 8 ounces of steak is not a lot, but to me it's the perfect ratio when you make it all together. We have the perfect amount of rice, veggies, and steak. Oh, smells so good. I'm so excited. Okay, all my puppies want to bite. Here we go. Oh, it's good. Perfect. That's it, friends. 30 minutes, 1 skillet is all you may need. Sorry, not all you made. All you need to make the best beef fried rice. This steak is so tender. You're gonna love it. I just can't stop eating it, friends. Remember, you can grab the full recipe. You can pin it. You can save it. You can get the nutritional information. All of that is linked in the description below, as well as everything I used, including my favorite spoon to cook with. All of that is linked in the description as well. Don't forget, like and subscribe. Let me know if you make this, and if you do, please go to the recipe and actually leave a review. You can leave up to a 5-star rating and a review, just like you can if you're shopping online. And it really helps us out because that's the #1 way that we get to communicate with you and see if you are loving our recipes. Okay, I'm out of here, friends. Thanks so much for joining me. Drop a comment below and let me know what I should make next in my kitchen, friends. I hope today I inspired you to eat at home by eating on a dime. I'll see you next time.